on to the first round and on to the diving pair number one. That's Tonya Couch and Stacey Powell from Great Britain, and their opening dive will be an inward dive with pike. They're going to set the standard and set the tone for the rest of this 10-meter synchronized diving competition. And this is the top pair who qualified for the Olympics at Leeds some 8 weeks ago.
And 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh, tremendous start there, synchronization. Perfect. Unfortunately, Stacey Powell there, you can see her coming up, screwing her face up. Diver closest to us there, enters the water and seems to let her hands hit her head and throw up a whole load of splash, which is unfortunate. That will mean the execution marks for Stacey will be lower. But good steady start there from the girls. Synchronization spot on. You can see both divers the same distance from the board, hitting the water at the same time. The marks reflect that, I think, Bob.
Synchro's good. Execution could have been a slightly better. 8s and 8.5 will count. 8.59 and 8.5 on the right. Big roar to greet the Chinese. Talking about small of stature. 4.6 or 4'6" and 4'6" for Wang and Ruolin of China. The favourites are here.
They're only just above the bars there, Bob.
Yeah, small in stature, but big in talent and capabilities, as we will find, I'm sure, after they've completed their inward dive. 2.0, of course, will be done in the pike position.
Well, listen to the crowd. I'm sure you can hear them behind me, or in front of me, in fact. The Chinese head and shoulders above. I mean, if they... the gold is theirs to lose. Look at that, complete mirror image. Both divers actually falling over from vertical, but the synchronization still near on perfect. I think we're going to see the leaders, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're not already looking at the 2B 2008 Olympic champions. This is the business end of the field now, Bob.
Don't get too excited about the 10, because it's blued out, which means it doesn't count. 9.0s on the left for execution. We have a teacher taking to the board now in Bryony Cole. She's alongside the young superstar of Australian swimming and diving, Melissa Wu, going in the opening dive, inward dive with pike.
Ready.
Last dive of the opening round of the 10-meter platform.
Outstanding start there by the Australian pair. Final pair to go. Just watch these 7 pairs in front of them perform very well. There was no mistakes really in that round. Maybe the Mexicans were slightly off, but here no mistakes from Bryony and Melissa. If anything, Melissa further away from the diving board than her partner. Just here left of screen. That won't challenge for the lead, but it'll be in the middle of the pack, I would imagine.
We have another 51, Leon, to add to the 3 we had before. So the middle of the pack, as we kind of suggested it might be, it's getting a little bit congested at this early stage. 8.5s on the right for Synchro. And after our first round of dives, that's how it looks. Separate that lot out. You can't in the middle, can you? 3-3, 3-3, absolutely together. Cole and Wu and the Canadian pair, and Tonya Couch, Stacey Powell, Maribeth Duche and Ishimatu. Dive number 2 for Tonya Couch and Stacey Powell. As with the opening dive, the degree of difficulty stays the same, as it will do for all the divers involved in this competition. This is a reverse dive with pike, and currently lying in joint 3rd place. It was a whole crop of 51s. Couch and Powell were amongst them, still are. Hopefully this could be an improvement on that opening inward dive with pike.
Oh, terrific. Stacey closest to us there, and Tonya may be having a little bit of difficulty with this dive in training, often landing differing distances from the board, but here no mistakes on synchronization by the girls. Arms moving at the same time. Perfect alignment there, Bob. The girls will be pleased with that. Again, Stacey getting an entry there, right of screen, not very much splash. Look at this into the water. I love these slow motion graphics. Great alignment. The judges will and should award highly.
Afraid not. 48.60, 7.5s on the left, 8.5s on the right. Now the Canadians, Megan Benfito and Roselyne Fillon, will go with an inward dive as well with pike. So again, you can have a direct comparison with what has gone before with the Germans. The score, remember, 49.8. So Canadians
Okay,
looking to get
wait.
in the 50s to go above them.
Go.
Good effort there. I'm going to pick apart the execution. Synchronization was good. And Megan, closest to us there, performing her dive very well. You'll see her go into the water with hardly any splash. Diver closest to us. Roslyn, her partner, though, throwing up a bit of splash. The judges will penalise for that, but a good first 2 rounds by the Canadian pair. And the fun begins next round when we move into the harder degree of difficulty dives.
Total marks there, 102.6 and 51.6 from that dive, puts the Canadians for the time being up into 3rd place. But the Australian pair, who were very impressive at last year's World Championships, coming in 2nd place in Melbourne, which would be nice for Nicole Cole, because it's a home place. Here's a first round dive.
Awesome dive by the Australian pair. Now, you've heard me talk about the rip entry, and both divers executing the rip entry almost to perfection. Synchronization, all in all, pretty good. You can't really see Melissa there through Bryony. That's good synchronization, and backed up with that all-important entry into the water. I think the Aussies will be making a move to snuggle up next to or just behind the Chinese.
Well, they've got the Koreans also in their way at the moment, because they moved up to 3rd, 104.40, only just behind Joy and Kim. But well done to Cole and Wu, and they are moving ever upwards. And Wang and Chen are staying exactly where they were in number 1 place, numero uno, and then Joy and Kim in 2nd, Bryony Cole and Melissa Wu in 3rd, and Tonya Couch and Stacey Powell are 7th at the moment. But at this stage, as you can see, the margin between 7th and 6th is 0.6 of a point, and then as you go further up, they're not too far adrift of Megan Benefito and Rosaline Fillon. Those are the big dives. The forward 3.5 somersault with pike. It's a 3.0 degree of difficulty, and one they need to get right.
Oh, and they get it right, they do. Synchronization, absolutely spot on. Execution, not quite as good as I've seen from the girls. Again, remember, we're looking for those upright entries into the water with little splash. Synchronization, bang on, girls. Both divers finishing over a vertical. Watch the splash go back away from the diving board here. So execution marks, the first 4 ones we'll see will be slightly lower, but the synchronization looked really good. Come on, judges, mark it correctly. Yes.
Yeah, 8s on synchro, 6.5s will count on the left-hand side for Tonya Couch and Stacey Powell, 166.2. Forward 3.5 somersault with pike. This one, as you probably know by now, 3.0 degree of difficulty.
Spectacular. It just amazes me how little splash these girls make. But I suppose, look at the size of them. How can you make splash when you're that small and slender? 1, 2, 3, out together. See ya. Oh, the crowd are cheering, stamping the feet, screaming. Quite right too.
I thought you were talking Chinese there.
Look at this. You see how flexible these girls are. Some great facial expressions too. A few G-forces acting there, Bob.
How fast is it now? 60 miles an hour they hit the water, is that right? It goes up 5 miles every day, so it used to be 35. There's the score, 79.2. On to the Australians to round off round 3. And Bryony Cole and Melissa Wu, or Wu Melissa, as she's known by pretty much everybody in Beijing. They like to reverse it here. 4 3.5 somersault with pike. Once again, 3.0 degree of difficulty, and they're underway already.
Oh, the Aussies are on. Make no mistake, that was approaching Chinese standards. Remember, the all-important entry into the water. 1, 2. You can only just see Melissa behind her partner there. That was a fantastic dive. Both divers' execution right up there. 8.5s, I'd say. Synchronization should be 9s, in my opinion. Let's see what the judges think.
Well, this is what they think. The scores come up on the scoreboard to the public and then come to us. 72s, 176.40. Don't think they're overly impressed by that. There's a kind of smile. Melissa's not sure, having a chat with her coach, but they are into second place.
I think that was unfair marking there, Bob. I'm going to go out and say that was undermarked.
That may be the case, but nonetheless, they have moved up to second. But look at the gap between second and sixth there. There is only 10 points separating Bryony Cole and Melissa Wu and Tonya Couch and Stacey Powell. They are still very much in this. Tonya Couch and Stacey Powell, their last dive. Everybody will do the 3.4 back, 2.5 somersaults with 1.5 twist. They will know that if they can pull this one off, they have a chance of winning a medal for Great Britain. I'm sure their hearts are pounding. We're talking about what they were doing in training, in practice for this. Here's a chance for the British pair to really lay down a marker. Back, 2.5 somersault, 1.5 twist with pike. Good luck, girls. Make it a good
1, 2, 3, go.
Tremendous final dive, 3.4 degree of difficulty. Synchronization was great, execution again. Much better, in fact, for these two girls. Look at that, 1.5 twists into the rest of the somersaults, into the water together. Stacey closest to us, slightly short of vertical. Good final dive for the British girls. That will put the pressure on the rest of the pairs. You see how difficult that dive is to complete there.
Let's get an idea of the marks and exactly where they're going to be in the standings. 73.4, okay, 75 could have been, 76 or maybe more, but 7.5, so get on the right and 7 and 6.5 on the left. And the Mexicans, Espinosa and Ortiz. Third place, bronze medal position after 4 dives.
Oh, tremendous effort there from Mexico. There they go, Viva Mexico. That's going to be good enough for a medal. What colour? I'm not sure. Fantastic final dive from the pair. Slight discrepancy there on the entry into the water on the timing side. The judges will see that, but they won't penalise so heavily. I think we're definitely looking at a medal there for the Mexican pair. Poor first 2 round dives, but the last 3, Bob, have been right up there.
Certainly picked it up, haven't they? Espinosa and Ortiz move into the lead with 83.64, and the roar that you hear in the background, as you see in the foreground, the Chinese come onto the board.
Hello. There's your Olympic champions. No doubt from the start all the way through and finishing off with the dive of the competition. That's the most difficult dive as we know, 3.4 degree of difficulty, mirroring each other all the way round. Look at these entries into the water. It didn't look like anyone dived into the water then. Massive scores, here they come. Up into the twist, 1.5 twists, into the pike together, no daylight in between the legs and chest. Disappear.
Everybody else disappears because they look at that score and go, well, okay, we can't catch them anymore. 90.78 means the Chinese are guaranteed the gold medal. Now, here's the equation for Bryony Cole and Melissa Wu. 63, and they make it into bronze medal position. They can do 83 or more, they make it into silver medal position. So 63 will get them bronze, 83 will get them the silver medal. The gold is out of range now. That's China's, Mexico and Germany.
Ready,
have the
go.
silver and the bronze. All that could change with this.
Oh, incredible. That could be enough. I think it will be enough for the silver. The Australians have been steadfast today. No mistakes. Other teams have been wavering all over the shop. The Australian girls, start number 8, had to watch all the other teams perform. Look at the synchronization there. 3.4, that's going to score right up there in the 80s. Well deserved, fantastic effort.
Second at the World Championships last year, second at the Olympic Games in 2008 for Bryony Cole and Melissa Wu. Just couldn't touch the Chinese on the day, but it's the Mexicans who grab the bronze. Espinosa and Ortiz 5 points behind the Australians. The Germans miss out this time, and sad to relate, we have our third synchro event for the Brits in 8th place. So Sonia, first of all, give me your impression of the Olympic experience.
It was great fun. Every time we dived, we kept saying, oh, we want to go back up there. And when we were sitting around waiting for everyone to dive, we just wanted to get back up there and do it again and again. But it's finished now, and now we're Olympians.
Stacey, what about that last dive? Because going into it, you actually had quite a good medal chance.
Yeah, well, our last dive was good. We just felt we were just a bit frustrated because we felt our synchro was good in our dive, and we just didn't get the marks we expected. We weren't quite rewarded for it as we expected to be. But yeah, we were still pleased because our synchro throughout the competition was spot on, and yeah, that's what we've been working really hard on recently.
Tell me what it's like, Tonya, to go first. You look at the list and you're going, oh, we're going first. How do you react to that?
Well, sometimes when you go first, you don't get as high points as you can do because I can't explain it. It's not against something, but
when you go second, like they have something to compare it against.
But
so
it was really good fun, and waiting up there for when everyone was cheering, and it put a smile on our face.
Well, it puts a smile on your face, but I would have thought the fact that you have to hang around for so long, you had your chat about 3 or 4 minutes before, you just want to get on with it, and you're not being allowed to get on with it.
Oh no, it's good fun. Like you get to stand there and actually enjoy the Olympic experience instead of being like rushed off the board like the rest of them. We just stood there quite relaxed. We were dancing to Cotton Eye Joe at one point, I think. So yeah, it was good fun, and we saw the Chinese people with their Chinese flag glasses and flags sticking out of here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, it was good fun.
Give me an idea also what it's like to dive in China. It's pretty much the national sport here. I mean, you'll never get this in Britain. So what's it like here? What's the feeling like?
It feels like I'm a football actually, because obviously football is big in England, so it feels like that when there's just millions of crowd like now hanging over, and it's just amazing really. I wish it was like that in England.
Yeah. The audience actually recognise when you do a good dive, and they all cheer. You can hear the roar go up no matter what country they're from. They recognise a good dive. Whereas in England, the audience sit there and they're not really educated in the diving field, so they're not so sure whether the dive was good or not. But these audiences are well trained.
When you look at the Chinese, do you think, okay, that's where I can improve and something I could do maybe better in the future? When you look at the Chinese divers, do you think, okay, well that's why they're streets ahead of us, that's what I need to do to get to that level?
I wouldn't say we look at the Chinese because obviously they train all day, every day, but we just look at our dives and think how to improve it. Like we record it each day, and we've got a TiVo which goes back in slow motion and stuff, so we just see what's going on and then hopefully do it in a competition.
So what will you do? Will you go back and look at all 5 dives and go, okay, that wasn't quite right and we need to just tweak that a bit?
Well, when we go back, Tonya's going to learn some harder dives, so we'll be up there with them. We'll probably have the most tariff out of anyone there, so our degree of difficulty will go up, and then hopefully we'll work on the consistency of a new list and work hard towards next 2012.
3.4 is the optimum level at the moment for women. Can you see the synchro going to 3.6 or ultimately 3.8?
Twist is 3.4, but apparently it's going down because everybody does it, but we're not too sure what's happening with the tariff yet. So
some people will look at it and think, well, hang on a second, they get quite easy right. They do 5 dives, the men do 6, and the men finish with a 3.8, and you finish with a 3.4.
Yeah, well, 3.4 is hard for women because the men have a lot more power, they can jump higher, and that's why men and women don't play football at home. That's why they don't play against each other. So it's a different sport altogether, and I think there's one woman who's strong enough who can do the 3.8 dive, Laura Wilkinson, but she doesn't use it because it's not accurate enough. And so when you use a 3.4 dive, if you do it well, you can still score more points than if you do a 3.8 dive badly. So.
Finally, what would you say to the people back home who are looking go, 3 synchro pairs have come 8th, that are going to be disappointed? What do you say to them as we look forward to 2012?
Well, we all came out here for experience, and because obviously 2012 is going to be the main shebang kind of thing, so we all 8th, yeah, it's last, but we've done all the hard work getting here, so we're 8th in the world.
And finally, what about you?
Well, we competed in an Olympic final, and not many people can say that they even made it to an Olympic final. So we're really over the moon and happy to be up there competing in it and up there with the shot at medals. But hopefully next time in 2012 we'll get it right. We're only one of 5 nations who actually qualified in all 4 synchro pairs. So we're only one of 5 nations in the world. So Great Britain are doing well.
We're off for our McDonald's now.
You got the plug in, well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much.